We are on the border. We are on the border. Now we're on the border of medium and hard. Now, if it's a paper based test, we're right on the edge. We're right on the cusp of getting to the hard questions. But with the digital test, remember it's 22 questions. We're definitely on our last medium level question before we break into the hard question. But sometimes, like a question before question 16, they can be a little bit difficult. Oh my gosh, I'm talking too much, but I got to break this down. All right, we take a look at the answer choices, and then some students gonna be like, what the hey am I looking at? Don't worry, I got your backs, y'all. Now, there is a module that breaks down these kinds of questions. If you really are bad at these type of questions, don't worry, they're really, really easy. Trust me, I can't help it, man. You guys are making me smile. Ain't nobody in front of me. I just imagine faces. Everybody's looking at me cross-eyed saying, what the heck are those answers doing? Let me explain each answer choice real quick. Remember, whenever you see these kinds of answer choices, or maybe even setups to a question, and they're dealing with exponential formulas, right? There's going to be an exponent. In this case, they're trying to freak us out with the fractional exponent, but just recognize that they're exponents. Now, the beginning value, the beginning of each formula that they're showing here is always the start, the beginning, or what's known as the initial value, the starting value, the beginning. Oh, the customer purchased it for $890 on the very first time having the gift, and then a year later it's going to be worth something, or a year later it's going to go down in price, something like that, right? But always the starting value. So in this case, for each answer choice, the starting value is 890. Now I'm going to put arrows underneath what's in parentheses, underneath the parentheses, dang it, within the parentheses. Right? Within the parentheses, they're giving you what's called the factors. So for each arrow, those represent what's called factors, also known as percentage increases or decreases. Okay, so for each of those parentheses, they should all begin with 100%. And it's either going to be plus or minus a certain percent to get to a number. Take a look at answer choice D. If I see 10, that represents 100% plus 900%. Because if you added 100 plus 900, that equal 1,000. If you took 1,000%, right, and you turned it into decimal, you have to move the decimal over 2 points. So that's where you got your 10. 10.0 represents 1000%. So inside the parenthesis, you have to recognize that's 100% plus 900%. What about this guy right there with the 2? I know that that represents 100% plus 100%, which equals 200%. But if I turn that into decimal, get rid of the percent and move your decimal over 2 times, that'll be 2.0. So now I know that that is a factor of 2. This guy is a factor of 10. Well, what about answer choice B, right? Answer choice B would be in parentheses if we were to take 1 over 10. That's also known as 0.10, right? 0.10. What does that represent? Now check that out. That means something's going down in value big time. So that's 100% minus 90%. That's what's inside that parenthesis, which is 0.10. What is 100 minus 90? That's going to be 10%. If I change it into decimal, I move the decimal over 2 points. So that's going to equal point or 0.10. But I have to be able to recognize that it's going down in value, where the other two were going up in value. Answer choice B is going down in value. Now notice answer choice A, that's also going down in value because that represents zero point 0.5, let's say 0.50, which I now know that is 100% minus 50%, which would equal 50%. If I got rid of the percent, move the decimal point over 2 times, that'll be 0.5, which is also equal to 1 over 2. You guys get the game. Again, those are factors, or 100 plus or 100 minus, whatever percent you're going to yield with. All right, next step. Let me clean all this stuff up so we can own this question. How do I delete? Whoop, it's gone like Donkey Kong. All right, here we go. Ready? An investment account was opened with an initial value of $890. That's where we said, remember the beginning value, initial value? That's what they're showing us, right? So 890. Now that we got that nailed, whoop, whoop, There are no answers to kill. But we continue reading. The value of the account doubled every 10 years. That doubling is your factor. That belongs within the parentheses. So which one is showing you doubling? One half is not double. One tenth is not double. 10 is not double. Certainly by two, it is double. So this is the answer to our question. But what about the exponent 10 or t over 10? They're saying that it doubled every 10 years. So it's going to double when t equals 10. 10 years over 10 would be equal to the first power because 10 over 10 equals 1. So what's 2 to the first power? 2. Then what's 2 times 890? That's going to be 1980, and that would certainly be double. You guys get how that works? This is a good explanation for question number 15 because you are certainly going to see variations of this question when the questions do get harder. Next!